Today is August 1st, and we're going to be planting new seeds in our garden. But before we do, we're going to reset our garden bed. We let the bed rest during the spring, and as you can see, we have a lot of weeds to pull. So let's get started. This bed has been resting since the beginning of spring, and we're finally ready to start our new garden from seed. We're going to save all these weeds we are pulling to make a free, nitrogen-rich liquid fertilizer. Stay tuned for a video showing you guys how to make your own free homemade fertilizer. Once the weeds have been removed, it's time to till all of this densely compacted soil. Tilling the soil is good for permitting moisture and allowing air to permeate, which allows seeds to germinate, encourages root growth, and helps integrate fertilizers into the soil. Next up, we'll be adding some grass clippings that we use as bedding for the duck coop over the last few months. Each time we cleaned out the duck coop, we just added it to this pile and let it compost. Duck manure is rich in essential nutrients that plants need for healthy growth, like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. The nutrients in duck manure can enhance soil fertility and promote vigorous plant growth. The organic matter in duck manure can improve soil structure, aeration, water holding capacity, and introduce beneficial microorganisms to the soil, supporting its overall health. If you don't have ducks or chickens, you can usually find cow manure at your local garden center, and that works really great too. Next up, we have some compost that we've been working on for a while. This is mostly kitchen scraps, coffee grounds that we picked up from local cafes, plants from the garden, and duck bedding. We have a video on the channel on how to make a compost bin like this from a $20 trash barrel, so make sure to subscribe and check that out. Next up, we're adding a couple bags of peat moss, a few bags of black cow manure, a couple of bags of organic garden soil, and a few bags of topsoil. Now that all the new soil is in there, Tom's doing one more soil till to make sure everything is nice and even and the soil is fluffy. Hey guys, welcome back. It's a new day. We ran out of sunlight yesterday, but we're back here this morning. It's August, so we're gonna start to plant our August seeds. We have broccoli, sweet corn, eggplant, cabbage. We've got pumpkin, squash, we've got watermelon, cantaloupe, and onion. So we have 8 rows here, and we're gonna plant each of these in the rows. In our first row, we're gonna plant some broccoli. So for our broccoli, we're going to do about 1/4 of an inch. Get a couple, I think that's okay. So we'll cover that right back up. For broccoli, you wanna plant this in rich, well-draining soil with full sun to partial shade. Broccoli prefers cooler temperatures, so it's best to grow it in the spring or the fall. Keep the soil consistently moist and provide good airflow to prevent fungal issues. Alright, and next up we have our eggplant. We're going to do a 1/2 row with this because we can space them out at 1/2 inch apart. For eggplants, choose a sunny location with well-draining soil. Eggplants really prefer slightly acidic or neutral soil, so a pH of 6.0 to 7.0. If you're growing eggplants with a variety of other plants like we are, you can add coffee grounds to the soil around the eggplants to increase the acidity. You want to keep the soil consistently moist, but not waterlogged. And the seed I'm most excited for, the pumpkins. We're going to sow these about 3/4 to an inch deep, and we're going to put about 5 to 8 seeds in one hole. We're only going to do 2 spots for these guys just because they do require a lot of space. They can get to be about 10 to 18 pounds, and with their vines and things like that, they require a lot of space, so we're just going to have a small section of the garden for them. For pumpkin, you'll want to choose a sunny location with rich, well-draining soil. Give your pumpkin vines plenty of space to spread. Pumpkins need a lot of water, so water deeply and consistently, especially during fruit development. next up is squash. We'll be planting these about 1 inch deep. You can put about 6 to 8 seeds in one hole, and we're gonna do a whole row of these guys. Choose a sunny location with well-draining soil for your squash. Provide regular watering, especially during flowering and fruiting stages. And watch out for pests like squash bugs and powdery mildew. So we just planted some straight neck squash, and now we're gonna try a different variety. Looks like an acorn squash. It's called Table Queen. Different types of squash have different growth habits, so make sure to read the back of your package for specific growing instructions. These are the ones I think Tom's most excited for. We've got cabbage. We're gonna plant them at about 1/4 to 1/2 inch deep. They need a little bit more seed spacing, so they need about 4 inches. So we'll probably get in about 7 holes. Plant your cabbage in well-draining soil with plenty of organic matter. When your cabbage plants are young, watch out for pests like cabbage worms. All right, next up, watermelon. We're gonna do a whole row of these. We're gonna plant them about 1/2 inch deep, and we don't exactly know the spacing for these ones, so we're guesstimating about 5 per row. Watermelons need constant watering, especially as they start to develop fruit. Make sure to provide support for the growing fruit to prevent them from rusting on the soil. You'll want to space your plants about 3 to 5 feet apart in well-draining soil with plenty of sunlight. All right, next up, we're doing 1/2 row of onions and 1/2 row of cantaloupe. Plant your onions in well-draining soil with plenty of sunlight. Onions like loose soil, so adding compost is beneficial. You want to prevent rot with your onions, so definitely water consistently, but avoid overwatering. Now for the cantaloupe. For cantaloupe, you want to plant in well-draining soil with full sun. Provide a trellis of support for the vines as they grow. You want to regularly water and ensure good air circulation to prevent disease. All right, last up, we've got our sweet corn. We're gonna plant it in 2 rows in order to help it with pollination, and we're gonna plant them about 1 inch deep. You wanna make sure that your soil is ready for your corn, so make sure to plant it when the temperature reaches about 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Ensure the soil is well draining and enriched with compost. You'll want to water deeply and consistently, especially during pollination. Plant your corn in blocks rather than single rows for better pollination. As you can see, we put ours in 2 rows. Since corn is wind pollinated, you'll want to plant in a location with minimal wind interference. When our corn starts to grow in, we'll do a follow-up video on how to pollinate. And as always, remember, specific requirements may vary based on your climate or local conditions, and also the specific varieties that you're growing. So always refer to seed packets and local gardening resources for more detailed information about your region.
All right, that's it for our late summer garden. We're done planting all of our seeds, and couldn't have been better timing because there's a storm coming through, and you can probably tell the wind is picking up. We're gonna call it for today and head inside and get safe, but we're gonna be doing some follow-up videos and just showing you guys the progress and updates on this garden. Stay tuned for those videos, and if you liked what you've seen, hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to this channel. See you guys next time.